and welcome to Leadership Kitsap Alumni Spotlight, where both the host and guest are alumni of our local 10-month leadership development course. This program shines a spotlight on just one of the several hundred graduates who have given countless of hours of their time and effort to make things happen through leadership. I'm your host, Theresa Smith, class of 2008, Engineering Design Manager at Kitsap County Public Works. Joining me today is Angie Tomisser, class of 2019. Thank you for being here, Angie.
Thanks, Theresa.
I'm so excited to talk to you today.
You too.
So you are class of 2018.
2019.
Oh, 2019. That's right.
2019.
That's right. I just read that.
Yeah.
So that's how we met.
That's right.
I was on the Leadership Kitsap board and running the Challenge Day for Environmental and Planning. So tell me about your experience for Leadership Kitsap.
It was amazing. Yeah, I really appreciated just the vast number of things that we got to see across the entire kind of program. The leaders that we got to meet were so inspirational. I was fairly new to Kitsap, so it was a great dip into all things covered in this region, which was wonderful. And then just getting to see so many wonderful leaders that are doing leadership in so many different ways. As a leader trying to find my way, it was nice to see what the options are.
Great. So was that your employer that encouraged you to participate in Leadership Kitsap?
Yes. Monica Blackwood was with us at that time, and she said, "Come
Rice
with me."
Fergus Miller?
Yes.
Okay.
Come with me. You have got to get introduced to Leadership Kitsap. There's a great program. I'm taking you by the hand, and I'll lead you down there to their office today. So we did,
awesome.
and it was off. Yeah.
She was leading you.
She was.
Right
She was
from the get-go. That's awesome. So you were new to the county. So where were you living before that?
Before I was in Seattle for about 10 years, and prior to that, I'm from Idaho originally.
Okay. So you didn't know anything about Kitsap County when you accepted a position with Rice Fergus Miller?
I didn't. Yeah, very, very little.
And tell me a little bit about Rice Fergus Miller. You're a local architect firm.
Yep. We are a local architecture firm and design firm. We're about 60 people right now. We focus on many areas of practice. Some of the standard ones are hospitality, healthcare, fire and emergency, education, housing, and then the market that I lead is called community impact.
So even more reason for you to really learn about the community that you're going to be serving.
Absolutely.
Under Rice Fergus Miller. So each class has a project, a group project, right? So the group is made out of 4 to 5 class members.
Right.
So what was your project and what did that mean to you?
Yeah, our project was in cooperation with Visit Kitsap Peninsula, and also Josh Farley was part of our inception.
All right, Kitsap son.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. His passion was really, he's a runner. He got into a conversation with us about this thing called the Bridge to Bridge Trail in Bremerton. And he said, we could really use some promotion around that. Visit Kitsap Peninsula said, wow, that would be a great amenity to highlight for our community. And our team just thought, well, yeah, of course, we've got this beautiful asset that we should promote, get people outside and just connecting with each other and enjoying kind of this beautiful place that we live in.
So for the folks that don't know what Bridge to Bridge is, that's Manette Bridge to Warren Bridge.
Correct.
Right, so it's
a
a
3-mile loop. Yep.
3-mile loop.
Yep, lots of views, great activity.
So tell me a little bit more about what kind of promotions or little decorations, that your group created through the route to kind of like pathway marks.
We did, yes. We did a couple of things. First, we expanded the map. We kind of did an overhaul of what the map was and made sure that everybody understood sort of where some key points were along the trail.
Working with Visit Kitsap?
Correct.
Okay.
And then along each of those points, our team helped create a logo that would be imprinted on the ground in those places so people would know to stop and
so cool.
Catch a view. So we did that and then had some kind of brochure material that we passed out, did a promotional video. It was really fun.
I've seen that video. It's a really neat video. I did. And I think some of the promotions, the logo that you made, isn't it the one where if you don't see it when it's dry, and then when you splash water on it, it shows up?
Some of them, yep.
Yeah, That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I recall that you also created decals, like little logos that used to promote the businesses along the route as well.
Exactly. Right? So they could put it in their window, people could put it in their car, like a little bumper sticker kind of thing. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I recall that Bridge to Bridge promotion also inspired more activities after that.
It did, yeah. So every time they do the Bridge Blast, there's usually a bunch of tours and activities that happen. And I believe Josh Farley, at least as of last year, was still doing a bridge-to-bridge tour. So he'd take you along the route.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So how did that add to your perspective of the community, or even perspective of the class itself, Leadership Kitsap?
I think what was interesting about it was that the objective was to engage the community, but also create something that could live longer than just your class experience. So something that would endure.
Sustainability.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think that was a really neat exercise to try to figure out how to create something like that once our team was long gone. How can it stay alive? And then I just really loved, I love Bremerton. I love every aspect of it. I love how wonderful the people are, and any opportunity you can kind of get to be outside and enjoy it and run into people. I think it just builds a stronger community experience.
Absolutely. Nothing like huffing and puffing through that
sweating together.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful view.
It is
the
pretty.
Narrows is a beautiful view, absolutely, especially if you go out there today.
Yeah, on a sunny
it's
day.
nice and
for
sunny.
Sure.
So now you've been out of Leadership Kitsap for 20, I'm going to do math here, 5 years. How did that change your perspective of the community, especially since your focus, as an interior designer, is community? How did that influence or change you?
Good question. I think, I've always been interested in working with my neighbors. I think Leadership Kitsap just gave me an opportunity to really dive deeper into the breadth of everything that's here. In my practice life, I particularly focus on work with nonprofits.
Okay.
And so exposure to a lot of the nonprofits that we saw within the Kitsap, Leadership Kitsap program was very helpful. I think that and just many, many introductions with so many amazing people going through the program as well, working for amazing organizations in our community. It's just a great networking opportunity, and I think I was able to kind of bring that back to the office, kind of keep those relationships alive.
So you came from Idaho, then Seattle to Kitsap County. Seattle and Kitsap County, obviously, urban versus a little bit more rural over here. Looking at Rice Fergus Miller's website, it's very holistic, very natural, lots of wood, open space, right? So how does your environment, because I've never been to Idaho, but how is that? Did your style change from where you came from to where you are now?
Like my design style?
Your design style? Or even like your own personal beliefs and feelings?
I think my personal approach to design is that every single client is unique, and my design aesthetic doesn't necessarily need to apply to their brand or their mission or translate that into their space. I think everyone's going to have kind of their own take. I tap my talents and my experience throughout, kind of working in the urban spaces to the more rural spaces, and really just try to bring an authentic kind of sensibility to the materials that I choose for projects. I'm big on honest materials, natural woods, things that people can really connect with, feel kind of that natural warmth. Honest materials, meaning like there's not a lot of synthetic material going into those products if we can help it. That kind of leads into my sustainability senses just as a professional. So I try to bring all that along with me as I grow in my design.
That's
practice.
awesome. That's why you fit perfectly with Rice Fergus Miller. Because you walk into their building and that's how it feels. It feels very honest because it retained what it was.
Right.
Right. And it developed it into something more. So tell me about your work at Rice Fergus Miller, specifically you're LEED certified. So maybe talk a little bit about what LEED means and how that reflects who you are. Because a lot of times, work is work, but we don't work somewhere where it doesn't reflect us somewhat.
For sure. It shouldn't. Yeah.
It shouldn't.
Yeah, we shouldn't be working for a place that doesn't reflect us.
Because you don't last very long.
Yeah,
if you
it's
do.
not a good fit.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, I think, I was drawn to RFM because first of the people, and second, just because of this wonderful community that they were serving in their practice. But I think when I think about sustainability and what RFM stands for, we practice what we preach. We're in a historic building that was dilapidated. It had pigeons that had taken over.
It was like J.C. Penney.
It was a Sears.
Right? It was a Sears. It was
company.
a Sears. Okay.
Yeah, repair shop. So they it was auto repair.
Excuse me.
Yeah, auto repair. So,
oil and
tires, the whole bit.
Wow.
So we purchased that building, had a vision for it. I wasn't with the company at that time, but the leaders at that moment saw kind of the greater good and said, it's a lot less hassle on the environment to reuse than it is to rebuild. And they just did a great job. It's got some amazing certifications for that building in the sustainability world that we're very proud of. And LEED is something that I'm actually a LEED green associate. And that means, that as I practice, I just naturally incorporate sort of strategies that are bent towards the sustainability focus. So that's always at the forefront of our mind with any project, just as a baseline.
I love that. I love the motto because that Rice Fergus Miller has, where like I said, it's keep green, sustainable. Just because it's old doesn't have to be torn down, but maybe change the vision.
Yeah.
Right. Change the vision.
Old
I think
beautiful.
you're also Rice Fergus Miller. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you guys are involved in the Quincy Square as well.
We are. Yeah.
So are you part of that, or at least part of the visioning?
I think that project had started a little before I began at RFM. I know that's been a lifelong project for Rice, Steve Rice, who has retired now, but there are people in the firm who are kind of still fostering that through. And I have touched that project from now and again. We're excited to see it actually happen. And I think it's just going to be transformational to that downtown core and just the opportunity it has to really celebrate a lot of the African-American heritage that's happened here in Kitsap. I think will just be a really wonderful asset for the community.
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that is being revitalized and it visioned something, retaining what it is, but bringing it out, bringing the best out of it.
Exactly.
I think that's awesome. And Rice Fergus Miller is like the perfect firm to bring something like that to life.
We hope so.
I think it's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. So let's talk a little bit more about your community work. So since you finished Leadership Kitsap, you've been exposed with so many leaders, so many options, very difficult to walk away once you've been given this knowledge.
Yeah.
So what have you done since you've gone through the class?
Yeah, well, immediately after I finished the class, I got involved in a local organization, which is the Kitsap History Museum.
Oh, fantastic.
It's a passion of mine. History is absolutely a passion. And so getting on that board was kind of my first go. Also, I've been included in the Kitsap Economic Development Alliance board. So I've been on there for several years. That's been really, really interesting, learning that kind of trade.
So let's go back to the Kitsap Historical Museum. What kind of work do you do with them?
I'm on their board. I'm their president. Have been for a couple of years. We've kind of taken a little bit of a quiet museum and given it a shake-up. We've been able to hire some really strategic folks who've been instrumental in the progress of the museum. We've got a great board that gets together and does some pretty high-level thinking about the mission and really what, history has sort of been in the past, has told one singular story, and how as we move forward, it's important to tell the stories that aren't always as told. So we've really made a strong focus on highlighting some of the groups in Kitsap that are maybe more quiet in history. So recently we've had a really cool exhibit come up on women's history throughout Kitsap, and specifically our work, women's work.
Oh, neat.
So that just opened, and we look at all kinds of different wonderful individuals in our community, women doing wonderful work and sort of impacting the trajectory of kind of women in Kitsap.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Come check it out.
And I know there's one group in Leadership Kitsap class this year that's working with the Kitsap Historical Museum.
That's right, to do some markers around town. So if you do a tour, a walking tour, you can stop and hear some information about
That's pretty cool.
a specific site.
I know that when I just park downtown to head over to Seattle on the ferry, I take it for granted what I'm passing. So now with the magic of the QR code, right, you can kind of learn, stop and smell the roses.
Sure.
Anything.
Find out
Because there
anything.
are some neat historical buildings, scattered throughout downtown. And one of them is the library, right? And then there's a few others, I'm sure, that I've passed by. And look, I don't know anything about it.
You got to take the tour.
Got to take the tour. So the other thing that I know about you is you are passionate about B Corp. So tell me about that.
Yeah, not everybody knows what B Corp is. It's probably pretty uncommon for most. I will preface that by saying B Corp is all about business, and I am not a business person. I didn't go to school for that. It's something that I've kind of come to out of curiosity. B Corp technically is a certification process that a business can go through, and it basically measures a company's social and environmental performance.
Oh.
So the example I like to give is if you go into a grocery store and you want to buy an apple, you have an option to buy an organic apple or a non-organic apple. And the reason you know an organic apple is organic is it has a sticker on it that tells you that they've gone through a rigorous system in how they've grown it, how they've delivered it, so that you know you're eating something authentically organic. And a B Corp certification is similar, but for businesses. It tells you that a business has done a very stringent job of treating their employees well, paying them well, also using their business as a force for good, giving back, being selective about the clients that we take on to make sure they're purpose-driven as well. So all of that I kind of discovered. I knew RFM was a B Corp when I first started. But when COVID hit, it became very clear to me that the way we spend our money is pretty impactful. And I started to see at that time that some businesses weren't taking good care of their employees. There were a lot of people without. So it made me pay attention to how I was spending money. And then I thought, well, what is this B Corp thing? And when I found out that they dug deeper into capitalism as a good thing, but doing capitalism in a way that can be beneficial and give back, I was really just so inspired by that.
Socially responsible.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like everything makes an impact.
Still make money, but you don't have to do it in a way that harms.
I love that. I remember seeing that because you and I are connected on LinkedIn as well. And I was following you, and it was Christmas time, and you were promoting a B Corp. And I love to shop. So I figured put my shopping in good use, and found an amazing company and bought like a couple of earrings and gifted them to family. And, so something that I would do anyways, I felt good about because this company is worth supporting.
Yeah.
So thank you for explaining that, because I would see it and I looked it up, but I didn't really gel until you just explained it just now. So
Good.
we should really, I like that.
Yeah,
I mean, really
important.
think about where you spend your money, right? You're just going to spend it anyways.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So is that just supporting the B Corp, or do you also go to events, right, that support B Corp?
Yeah, I actually co-founded an organization called the Washington B Corp Collective, which is a statewide...
You took it one more step.
I did.
That's what Leadership Kitsap does.
That's what you do. That's right.
What you do.
If you don't see it, you make it happen.
That's right.
Yeah, so I kind of reached out to the community in the greater Seattle, Kitsap area and said, how many B Corps are out there? What's happening? And there just wasn't much. So I found a group of us got together and said, let's put on events, let's advocate for this, let's provide resources for people who are interested in doing purpose-driven business. So yes, we put on events and we're super excited about it.
I gotta go to one of these events. I'm not a B Corp though, but I can spend.
That's okay, be curious,
Can
right?
I just bring money?
Yeah, just
spend? Can I just spend? So you have a quote, I'm going to end with this, on your profile on Rice Fergus Miller's website. And I love this quote. It's by John Lennon. A dream you dream alone is only a dream. A dream you dream together is reality. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think the crux of that is really that alone you can do some things, but together you can do great things, right? So the collective is greater than the single. If you want things to happen, if you want to get great joy out of things happening, I think it's better to do it with others and kind of share that experience.
I love that. I think we'll end with that.
Okay.
Thank you for joining me here. I love peeling a little bit more of that Angie apple. It's so neat. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Leadership Kitsap Alumni Spotlight. If you want to become part of a vibrant team working to build a new and continuing source of fine leaders right here in Kitsap County, reach out to us online at leadershipkitsap.org, on Instagram and Facebook. For the Leadership Kitsap Alumni Spotlight, I'm Theresa Smith. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.